This Department of Education thing is absolutely insane, and every single one of the Republicans talked about it, and I just don't get it. They're like, hey, we're going to do all these administrative works, this work and this plan and this plan and this plan, and we're going to get rid of the people who carry out plans. What? Vivek, it rhymes with cake. He was all over the news past week because of the performance he did on the debate. I think he's a clown, but what does everybody else think? What does the news think? What are they saying about him? What can we take away from the things that he said in the past? And what's he talking about? So we'll take a look at a couple of things. And yeah, I think he's stupid because of the stupid shit he said. I agree. He said a bunch of stupid shit, and now I think he's stupid. Weird. His rise to semi-prominence. Is he the GOP's candidate ideas or a grifter? I think he's a grifter. That's just me. Let's see what the internet has to say. 37-year-old former biotech CEO and the first-time candidate has been omnipresent in the media. He's been campaigning vigorously in the early states, and in recent months he's pulled into a third place in the national polling, which will place him center stage with DeSantis at Wednesday's GOP primary debate. Ramaswamy became an outspoken commenter criticizing woke capitalism. Woke capitalism. It's very scary. He might have gotten Don Lemon fired. I didn't know about this. I don't watch CNN. I know who Don Lemon is, but apparently Ramaswamy said that the NRA had a role in the civil rights movement. And then Don Lemon said, it's insulting that you are sitting here, whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me what it is to be black in America. Lemon was fired by CNN days later. I don't know. That's weird. He's hard on DeSantis, which makes sense, which is what you're supposed to do in a primary. You're supposed to attack the person that's on top, you know? But if the person on top is Trump, you don't want to attack him. Ooh. You might lose the votes if you attack him. He's got 3 books that are probably terrible. He started his foray into politics by critiquing the intermingling of progressive politics with business, then moved on to rebut that what he calls the left's identitarian vision grounded in race. He's got really weird things on race. I got a video to show later, but it's just very strange. I'm not entirely sure that he believes any of it, but we'll get to that later too. I don't think he believes anything. There's a two-sidedness to him. He wants to unite the country, yet his marquee campaign proposal is making sure black people can no longer benefit from affirmative action. He has claimed that trans people are, more often than not, mentally ill, and has denounced the trans cult. He styles himself as speaking the truths on controversial issues, while offering a policy agenda untethered from legal restraint or practical reality. For instance, his proposed revoking of rights for the 18 to 24-year-olds so that they can't vote. Yeah, maybe it was written by ChatGPT. Yeah, I think the reason Chris Christie said that it sounds like your ChatGPT is because he is a talking point machine. He doesn't have anything really to say other than the talking points. He just spits them out. A lot of them aren't tethered to reality. They're not a part of anything that is real. Calls himself a libertarian. Of course he does. This is his plan for what Mike Pence should have done on January 6th. So very fun.
Bring up a couple questions you didn't get a chance to answer at the debate. Most of the candidates on stage Wednesday night said Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th. Do you agree?
I would have done it very differently. I think that there was a historic opportunity that he missed to reunite this country in that window. What I would have said is this is a moment for a true national consensus where there's 2 elements of what's required for a functioning democracy in America. One is secure elections, and the second is a peaceful transfer of power. When those things come into conflict, that's an opportunity for heroism. Here's what I would have said. We need single-day voting on Election Day. We need paper ballots, and we need government-issued ID matching the voter file. And if we achieve that, then we have achieved victory, and we should not have any further complaint about election integrity.
So
I would have driven it through the Senate.
So what would you have done with Mike Pence? You would have not certified the election?
So in my capacity as president of the Senate, I would have led through that level of reform. Then on that condition, certified the election results, served it up to the president, President Trump then to sign that into law, and on January 7th declared the re-election campaign, pursuant to a free and fair election. I think that was a missed opportunity, but that's the kind of spirit we're going to need.
He's out of his mind. So he's this guy can fuck right off. Yeah, I agree with you. So what he would have done on Jan 6 is change all 50 state laws, all of them, all on his own, just because he wants to, as the vice president. He just would have done that. Change all state laws going forward from this day on. From this day forward, all the state laws are changed by me, the vice president. Just do it. You know? What the fuck is this guy talking about? He would have forced huge changes. He would have forced it on all the states. Republicans cry about state rights all the time. States' rights, states' rights, states' rights. They only care about states' rights when it helps them win. If states' rights didn't help Republicans win, they wouldn't care for states' rights. This maniac, who is this kid, I get to call him that because I'm older than him. So this kid said he would change all the laws in 50 states to 1 day of voting only, and mandatory paper ballots, and no more mail ballots, and mandatory ID. Or else you don't get to do an election? I don't know. He does. And if we agree to all of those things, all that mandatory power grab that the vice president just did, then he'll count the votes for Joe Biden in 2020. What? What? It doesn't even make sense. It's not even anywhere close to being legal. It's not anywhere close to being a plan. If you said you want to change the voting rights in the future to paper only, then you have to pass that through every state. There are 50 of them. It's like a coup with extra steps. It's a part of the coup, is what it is. Is he would have not gotten the thing that he wanted. He asked for something impossible. I will verify that Joe Biden is the president if you give me a unicorn. Then, when he doesn't get one, he's like, well, I mean, we tried to negotiate with you. This is your fault, really. I tried to negotiate with you. I simply asked for a unicorn, and then Joe Biden could be president. And you have given me no unicorns. Sorry. Sucks to be you. The coup will continue. That is his nonsense plan. But again, I don't think he actually believes that. I don't think he believes any, except for one, of the things that he is saying. So what else has he had to say recently? 10 truths. Oh my goodness. Vivek Ramaswamy, my 10 truths for the 2024 campaign. Truth, very important. Everybody loves it. We're going to have so much fun with the truth. Here we go. Truth number 1. God is real. Right off the bat. Yeah, I'm going to give him an emo Waldo in chat. Emo Waldo's in chat for God is real. No, not a thing. So right off the bat, I'm completely disagreeing with him on step number 1. So that's good. One of my favorite scientists, this is him speaking. One of my favorite scientists, Blaise Pascal from Pascal's Wager fame, said it's best if you have a hole the size of God in your heart and God doesn't fill it, something else will. That's how you get climatism and covidism and transgenderism. Because you don't go to church often enough. You get people doing climate science and believing that COVID is real and believing that there are more than 2 genders. That is so awful and anti-freedom. It's not even funny. This guy is awful. But again, I don't think he believes anything. There are 2 genders. There are 2 sexes. If you have an XX chromosome, you're a woman. If XY, you are a man. See, this is the confusion of gender and sex. There are sexes. There are 2 of them. There are multiple genders. You can make as many as you'd like. We invented them. In fact, it's a whole spectrum with a million little points in between. So again, number 2, I completely disagree with him. Human flourishing requires fossil fuels. That is just nonsense. Human flourishing requires fossil fuels. Get the hell out of here, guy. 8 times as many people die from cold temperatures as warm ones? What is he even talking about? This is just nonsense. He's just making things up. Can you freeze to death? Yes, but that has nothing to do with giant hurricanes and the hottest summer ever. I think it was 110 in Michigan the other day. Like, Michigan, that shouldn't happen. And his answer to all temperature-related deaths is more abundant fossil fuels. Burn more coal, baby. Burn all that oil. Burn all the coal. Burn all the oil. Drag it all up. Burn it all. Because that's what will give us freedom somehow. We'll all die. According to him, thanks to these fossil fuels, climate-related deaths dropped a staggering 98% over the century. He's just talking shit. Man, he doesn't believe any of the things that he's saying. I don't think he even believes this stuff. No, he doesn't. He doesn't believe any of this stuff. Why doesn't he believe it? We'll get to that at the end of this list. Drill, frack, burn coal, and embrace nuclear energy. More carbon. Reverse racism is racism. Now, this is a stupid term that stupid people came up with probably around 2007 or so, if I remember correctly. I've been watching the politics for a while. So around 2007, Rush Limbaugh used to say reverse racism. That is when black people are mean to white people. Because Rush is an idiot. He thinks racism means white people being mean to black people. That's what the word means to him. It doesn't mean making decisions or making judgments about a person based on their skin color. No, that's not what it means. It means white people being mean to black people. That's the definition of racism. So when it goes the other way, they call it reverse racism. Anybody using this term is an idiot. Top to bottom, beginning to end, anybody using the word reverse racism is an idiot. So, Vivek, you're an idiot. We can just skip all of that because he is an absolute moron. An open border is no border. Unironically, I agree with this one, but not for the reason that he is. I don't want a border. Border-free world would be amazing, and I hope we could build towards it. I hope we could progress towards it, honestly. But he doesn't think so. He's gone the other way and wants to militarize that border. Military resources to stop an invasion. And not just illegal immigrants, human trafficking, and fentanyl. There's that fentanyl thing again. Armed cartel gunmen are directly invading our homeland. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so scared. And he needs you to be scared too. Fentanyl deaths among young people rose 1,000% from 2020 to 2023. They were 80% of fatal teen overdoses last year. I don't know if those numbers are real. The man lies constantly without a doubt. You live in Texas, Shinsinto, and you haven't seen any of them. Exactly. You haven't had any armed cartel gunmen near your house? No? Okay. So, yeah, again, number 5, complete utter nonsense. Let's keep going to number 6. Parents determine the education of their children. They have a say in it, I could agree, but the purpose of education is not to recreate the parents. When you have a kid, you don't own them. Republicans, listen. Republicans, come here. Republicans, conservatives, you don't own your children. You don't actually own them. You're responsible for them. You take care of them, but you don't own them. And you never will. You shouldn't. So, parents determining the education of the children, they should have a say. I want them to have a say. But the purpose of the education is to make sure that those children can function in the world that exists, not the imaginary world that conservatives pretend exists. You know? If conservatives were in charge of educating their children, they would teach them church, they would teach them Reaganomics and the supply side economics, and then send them out into a world where they are completely incapable of functioning. The children of Florida, and I'm basing this on Florida because of good old DeSantis ruining their entire education system there in Florida. Those children are going to come out of Florida after their education is complete, completely illiterate and incapable of functioning within the world that exists. And we'll have to create like a separate world for them. There's going to have to be like a Florida remediation class in all colleges. I think this could be a fun exercise for colleges outside of Florida to set up. They do something over the loudspeaker now. Would every student who grew up in Florida please report to room number 7? And those children will then have to go to room 7 and sit through basic education before they can begin college because they were not prepared by Florida. And this guy would make it worse. Parents know what's best for kids, not the teachers' unions, and not the U.S. Department of Education. There's that Department of Education again. They sure do hate those people. Wonder what they do. I should look that up sometime. Now, this sentence is insane. There is an inverse correlation between how much money a public school spends per student and the actual outcomes that the school achieves for students. I do not believe that for a minute. Not 1 second do I believe that sentence. That sentence is pure fiction. That means the more money a public school spends, the lower the outcomes. More money, lower outcomes. That's insane. There's no possible way that makes any sense. He's out of his goddamn mind. I will shut down the Department of Education without apology and use its $80 billion budget on school safety, school choice, and vocational programs. My man, listen. You're going to have to give that money to someone, that $80 billion, right? And you're going to have to decide on what they do with it. School safety. You're going to have to come up with a plan on how they can achieve school safety and school choice and vocational programs. And in doing so, you're going to have to set, rules, limits, give them ideas that they can follow and they can buy into or not, because you said that the parents know best. Well, what if the parents of Arizona don't like your idea for a vocational program? So you're going to have to work with them on something else. That is a Department of Education, my man. That is what that is. You can't do these administrative things if you get rid of the administrative people. This Department of Education thing is absolutely insane, and every single one of the Republicans talked about it, and I just don't get it. They're like, hey, we're going to do all these administrative works, this work and this plan and this plan and this plan, and we're going to get rid of the people who carry out plans. What? All right, number 7, the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. It's not a form of governance. I don't know what he's talking about. A quarter of kids in America don't have a dad in the house. Children in a father-absent homes are almost 4 times more likely to be poor because they don't have 2 incomes. They only have 1 income. That makes them poor. And 20 times more likely to end up in jail because they're poor. Poor people end up in jail. That's how it works. If you're poor, you're more likely to end up in jail. The federal government cannot, on its own, fix the fatherlessness crisis. But here's what it can do. Get the progressive boot off the family's neck. What progressive boot? He's just making things up. What progressive boot is on the family's neck? What progressive candidate is AOC stomping on people saying, you can't get married, how dare you? You need to be single. No, nobody's doing that. Progressive boot is an insane sentence. That the progressives are at the same time soft, bleeding heart liberals who don't want to offend anybody, but they're also bloodthirsty monsters with their boots on the family's neck. Which is it? It's horseshit is what it is. Bumper sticker bullshit is what this is. Stop using taxpayer money to pay mothers more to not have a man in the house, then do the exact opposite what's likely best for them. What the fuck is he even talking about? What? Can women just go to the government and say, hey, give me money or else I'll get married? What even is this? What is he on about? What planet does he live on? Number 8, capitalism lifts people up from poverty. Capitalism has lifted more people up from poverty than any other system in humankind. I agree that capitalism's better than what we had before, but we can make it better. This guy, when guys like this talk about capitalism, they don't want to improve it. They don't want to make it better. They don't want to fix the problems that actually kind of end up at the bottom where there are an underclass, a poverty-stricken people that we can't get out of poverty. We could do that with some socialist ideas, but he's against that. Leave capitalism alone, give it more power, if anything, and do not ever change it. Never criticize it. And this is going to fit back into number 1 here in just a few minutes. He believes in number 8 because it gets him money, gets him paid. Number 9, there are 3 branches of the government, not 4. Now, he said this during the debate. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Apparently, the biggest open secret in the modern America, the people we elect to run the government don't actually run the government. No, they don't. Dipshit. I knew that. Maybe it's because I'm older than him and know more things. They don't. They put the people in charge. You get elected and you lead it by directing the people who actually work there on which direction to go. That's leadership. I will replace civil service protections with 8-year term limits for bureaucrats. This is ridiculous. This is such a dumb fuck idea. No one's ever said this before. It's so stupid that no one's ever suggested it before. Now he's going to go on stage and be like, nobody's ever suggested this before. It's got to be smart. No, it doesn't. No one's ever suggested it before because it's incredibly stupid. Civil service rules protect against individual federal employee firings, but they don't apply to large-scale reductions in force. Mass layoffs are absolutely what I will bring to Washington, D.C. bureaucracy. He's just going to get rid of all the people that do all the work. Get rid of the people that do all the work. Just toss them out. Get rid of them. And you know what's going to happen? Nothing's going to work anymore. The IRS isn't going to run. Social Security checks are not going to go out. Because I hope you're not expecting a Social Security check. Because the person who did it had been there for more than 8 years and they got sacked for no good reason. Because this guy wants fewer, smaller bureaucracy. There's a lot of people that have to do that job, Vivek. Those are jobs that need to be done. They don't just hire people to sit around and do nothing. You're out of your mind. Yeah, slash and burn capitalist mindset. Layoffs mean short-term profits. And he would slash and burn. He would get rid of those people, and then claim to have saved money. And then when things go wrong, when things fail, he will blame the Dems, blame the deep state, and run away with probably some money that he's stolen, or his friends and the lobbyists who he has empowered and given favors to will make more money. The Exxon and the coal companies will have made huge profits, and they will just pay him after he leaves office. He can just sit pretty for the rest of his life. The U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedoms in history. This is just nationalist thing. Is the Constitution good? Yes. Is it the strongest guarantor of freedoms in history? I mean, I guess I can agree with that one, but he's using it for his own benefit, honestly. And then he just waxes poetic about soldiers for a few lines. Capitalist mindset, a golden parachute. Yep. He will gut your government, and then the capitalists will pay him a golden parachute. You're right. That's exactly what he's going to do. I don't think he believes most of these things. Most of these things he doesn't actually believe in. I think he does actually have one. Here we go. Number 1. God is real. I think he believes this, but his God isn't Allah or Buddha or Yahweh or any of those things. His God is the almighty dollar. His God is the invisible hand of the market. He's friends with Peter Thiel. He's friends with J.D. Vance. They don't believe anything. They don't have political beliefs based on the making the people's lives better. They have beliefs based on maximizing the amount of money they can get. Maximize the power you have. That gets you the money gets you the power gets you the money, and you just keep going back and forth forever and ever and ever until you win the world. And that's what I'm worried about this guy. He has in the past said that climate change is a problem and he talked about how to fix it. But on the debate, he said that climate change is a hoax. He's out of his mind. He doesn't believe that. I don't think he believes that climate change is a hoax, but he needs to say it. He needs to say climate change is a hoax to get all the Trump votes. Then once he has all the Trump votes, he can gut the government, slash and burn the entire thing, give big fat giveaways to all his favorite companies. The companies can take care of him, and he's won. That's it. Any fallout, any terrible things that happen after that, not his problem, because he's rich, powerful, and protected. This is a very dangerous person that I don't think will go away. Guess what? He's younger than me. He's going to be in, if nothing changes, he's going to be in American politics for the next 50 damn years. 50 years. 100 years, 50 years of Vivek and Trump and Vivek, 100 years, 100 years and 100 years of Vivek and Trump and Vivek, 100 years, burp. It's going to be great. Viable realism and revival. So I read through this. He wrote this himself. So it's not like I'm taking his words out of context. He wrote this. And it's lame and dumb. This is all just nationalist flag waving, flag waving, flag waving, flag waving. Nationalist flag waving, America's so great. Talks about Nixon that I can't dispute, but it sounds wrong. This sentence sounds incredibly wrong. I think he said that Nixon ended Vietnam, which doesn't sound correct at all. Pretty sure we blamed Nixon for Vietnam. Yeah, it was great in the past. You're right. Shinzento, you're seeing where this is going. We used to be great. Make America something something. Okay, so here we go for actual current and future stuff. So this is Vivek saying this. As U.S. President, I will respect and revive Nixon's legacy by rejecting the bloodthirsty blather of the useful idiots who preach a no-win war in Ukraine that forces our two great power foes ever closer. There is a way to win in Ukraine. Russia could stop doing what they're doing. Russia could stop invading. They're the bad guys in the Ukraine situation. They attacked and are stealing someone else's land. And Vivek calls this a no-win war because he's an idiot. Or he just doesn't care for the other people. Because what's Ukraine done for us lately? Honestly, he'll mention some things like that. The longer the war in Ukraine goes on, it becomes ever clearer that there is only one winner, China. He really doesn't like China. I will go to Moscow in 2025. Pretty brave of you to do if you are the president. I will deliver peace in Ukraine under the only terms that should matter to us, terms that put American interests first. Fuck those Ukrainian people, according to Vivek. Who cares? They're not American. They can fuck off and die. He doesn't care. And this deliver peace means he would give Putin and Russia all the land that they want from somebody else's country. Vivek, President of the United States, would tell Ukraine how much of their country they have to give up to Russia. Where is the sense in that? It's not your country. Ukraine is not your country, Vivek. It's not yours. It's theirs. If they want to fight for that land for their entire lives and die, then that's their choice. You don't get to say, okay, give this to Russia. That's insane. Why would you do that? Why would you appease Russia? To that end, according to this is him speaking again, to that end, I will accept Russian control. He will accept Russian control of the occupied territories. You know what? That's Russia's now. Yeah. Ukraine, you say it's yours. Russia says it's theirs. We'll go with Russia. What? And pledge to block Ukraine's candidacy for NATO in exchange for Russia exiting its military alliance with China. So, this is his brilliant plan. Give Russia what they want inland, give Russia what they want in preventing Ukraine from joining NATO, which would be beneficial to Ukraine. It's what Ukrainians want. But he would say, President Vivek would be like, no, you can't have the things you want, separate country. You have to do what Russia wants. And in exchange, Russia will exit its military alliance with China. Do you know what would happen? Do you know exactly what would happen? Putin would agree to those terms. Putin would say, yes, of course we will do that, President Vivek. We will stay within these borders within Ukraine. That's Russian land now. And we will break off our military alliance with China until they don't. Because they won't. They will look him in the face and they will say, yes, great, we will abide by these things. And then the minute he's not standing directly in front of Vladimir Putin, Putin will do exactly what he wants. You can't. Putin is a liar, and he will lie right to your face, Vivek, and you will not get what you want. You will condemn an entire country to losing a war that they're already winning so that you can feel good about the thing you said that isn't going to happen. It doesn't make any sense. It shows how stupid and uninformed he actually is. Yeah, if he doesn't profit, he doesn't win, yeah. He's not interested in anything other than American profit. And then we get into Taiwan with the semiconductors. I will declare economic independence from China. You can't just do that. The president doesn't actually control the economy. He's not in charge of what individual businesses do. If a business wants to continue to be dependent on China, they will. Are you going to go tell Walmart to stop buying things from China? You can't. The president doesn't have that kind of authority. He can't do that. I'll demand fairness in our trading relations with them. I will incentivize American companies to move supply chains away from China by paying them. This could work. You could incentivize a company to do things differently. Yeah, you're right. Since voters think that the president can just control the entire economy. He's got a little knob that moves the gas prices up and down, and Biden turned it all the way up because he hates you. And Trump turns it down because he loves you, obviously. That's how the economy works. Incentivize American companies to move supply chains away from China means paying them. And you know what? I call that corporate welfare. He's very upset about individual human beings getting money from the government, but he loves giving it to companies. What the hell? Why would you give them money? And where does the government get money? The taxpayers. He would take taxes from you and give it to a company so that they will use a supply chain in the West and then sell their products to you in the West that you have to pay for. This is insane and wouldn't work. It would just give a bunch of government money to companies. And that's what he wants. That is his goal. That is his end goal. Give government money to companies. Oh, and then it gets worse. American industry to make certain that our country achieves semiconductor independence. So as soon as we are capable of making all our own semiconductors, because he's been paying the company to do so, we will just abandon Taiwan. We'll just abandon them. Sorry, guys. You were beneficial to us, but now you are not. You are on your own. Get lost. Hope you don't die. But if you do, who cares? Not my problem. America first. Woo. He complains about leftism here. Our foes abroad have sowed discord in our hemisphere. Waves of leftism have roiled Latin America and created economic instability. Unstable states are unable to protect their own people. My man, I agree with this sentence completely. Unstable states are unable to protect their own people. You know what causes an unstable state? Firing all the people that work for the state. Gutting the Department of Education, getting rid of all the departments causes instability. And according to him, instability means that you can't protect yourself. Like he says it's right there. But he doesn't know that his plans will create unstable states. He's so full of it. He's just saying the buzzwords. He's ChatGPT. This is why Christie called him ChatGPT. Drug cartels in Mexico. These cartels in Mexico are then used as foot soldiers by Chinese criminal enterprises to push poisonous fentanyl into our country. They're pushing it. No, my man, there's a severe demand within our country for this stuff. And we want it, and we demand it, and we will pay lots and lots and lots of money for it. And that's a problem. Let's change that. But until we do, you can't just attack the supply. You have to attack the demand. Change the reason we have a demand for these drugs. Change that. The demand will dry up, the money will go away, and they'll stop doing it. They'll stop smuggling them in once people stop paying them to smuggle them in. And it requires far fewer bullets. He would give Taiwan the weapons they need for defense. So he's willing to arm Taiwan to fight China, but he's not willing to arm Ukraine to fight Russia. I don't know. I don't get it. I can't imagine why he would be for one and not the other. It's insane. He doesn't like NATO, which is obvious because he's an idiot. NATO's just a military alliance between a whole bunch of countries to stand together against Russia if Russia attacks. NATO is a 19th century solution to Russia's 18th century actions. That's what they do. Russia just sees something they want and they run over there and they try and take it. You sometimes need to band together to fight that. But he hates it because we pay them. We're paying the most, 60% of Allied defense spending. That's fine. You know what? We're the richest, we're the strongest, and we have the most to lose by Russia taking all these little states. So we pay the most. We want to be the world police. Well, let us. That's the attitude of the rest of the world. Hey, these American guys want to be in charge of all the policing and war stuff. Let them. We don't have to pay for it. Let them do it. And I don't mind that, because if we paid less, then more people would be in charge of it that aren't us. It's probably not very leftist of me, but like, I think the American military is better than all of the other militaries in the world. I would rather, if we had to choose who's in charge of the entire world defense, I'd rather be the American military, especially with regard to regional prosperity. I pledge that America will be a willing partner in the commerce Jefferson mentioned so long ago. We already have free trade agreements signed with 12 neighbors in the hemisphere, most especially the USMCA deal that covers our two most important trading partners, Mexico and Canada. Under my leadership, we will grow hemispheric trade to historic levels. My man, Vivek, my guy, we will grow trade with Mexico and Canada. Do you know where that fentanyl comes from, Vivek, that you're so upset about? It comes smuggled from them. If you increase our trade with them, you increase the amount that is smuggled. Republicans don't get this. They don't know. They think that all the fentanyl in the country is being hiked across an undefended border through the desert. It's not true. It's being hidden within inside legitimate trade. The trucks drive and they include a little bit of it hidden in there so that you can't find it. They hide it inside the cars. They hide it inside the people that are traveling back and forth legally, properly. And if you increase that trade, you will increase the smuggling. But he doesn't know that. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter to him. All that matters is if he says the things to get people to vote for him, so that he increases his power, so that he can gut the government and give all the profit to corporations. And that is what his plan is, honestly. He will gut it all and give it away. He wants to abolish the Department of Education and let for-profit schools take over. He will abolish the EPA so that companies can spend less on not polluting. That helps them monetarily. Get rid of the EPA so that we can save some money on not following all those regulations. And he would get rid of wokeism from companies so that it doesn't hurt their bottom line. He only has one God, and that is the invisible hand of the market. He doesn't care about anything else. And the only thing that matters is the almighty dollar. And that is why he is awful. And he is so blatantly lopsided. So he'll say X on one day, and then the next day he'll say Y. And it won't matter if he's a hypocrite or flip-flopping on things like climate change. It doesn't matter. What matters is that he gets in charge so that he can make the most money, make the most power, make the most money. That's all that matters. And he's probably going to be Trump's vice president, honestly. If Trump isn't in jail, he's going to pick Vivek to be his vice president. And then, because Trump is a doddering old fool, he will give Vivek all the work. And then Vivek will do the work that he wants. He will be the Dick Cheney to George W. Bush. He will. He will be the mind behind the guy. He'll be the brains behind the operation. And that sounds terrible and awful, and I don't want that to happen. We would all suffer. Oh, hi. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, press the subscribe button. If you want to tell me how right I am, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, leave a comment too. That's good. This is just kind of a hobby for me, so I appreciate you coming by, giving it a watch, and pressing the YouTube buttons. Thanks.